Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So, I feel a little bit better today than I did yesterday. I have more of my voice today than I did yesterday. But a lot of news has come out, and I kind of want to talk about it. So, yes, I have a Dunkin' Donuts strawberry culotta. Okay? Don't judge me. So, there's a lot of trade rumors going on, and I want to talk about some of the trades that I think could potentially happen, and a lot of the trades that I think will happen or won't happen. And first, I want to get onto a trade that I think definitely will happen, and that is Jordan Poole getting traded from the Golden State Warriors. Now, a lot of people might be thinking, Jordan Poole, like, they're going to take Jordan Poole over, like, they're going to take Draymond Green over Jordan Poole. Yes, I think they will. Mostly because I think Steph, I've seen clips, a couple of them, where, you know, Draymond Green has tried to amend the situation with Jordan Poole, and Jordan Poole is just not being, you know, a team player, so to speak, about it. And I just think that Draymond Green is more important to the Warriors continuing to be a championship team than Jordan Poole is. And Jordan Poole is also a great player. He's a great offensive player, but he's the worst defensive player on the Golden State Warriors. And in the playoffs, like, he wasn't necessarily great. So, you know, like, part of me thinks that he's going to be the guy they get rid of this offseason, especially when you have guys like Steph Curry and Steve Kerr saying that if Draymond Green never punched Jordan Poole in the face, they wouldn't have gotten knocked out of the playoffs so early. So I really think Steph is going to take Draymond over Jordan Poole every single day of the week. So that's the first trade that I think is definitely going to happen. I think Jordan Poole is going to be playing on a different team by the time that we start next season. The next trade I'd like to talk about is Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is a guy that I would like to see get traded. It's just Washington paid him so much fucking money that it's going to be very hard to do. And being that Bradley Beal has a no trade clause, that makes it even harder to trade him. You know, the problem with that is, like, Bradley Beal has the ability to dictate where he goes and what trade package he gets traded for. You know, like, there could be a team that he wants to go to, and they could offer, you know, everything and the moon and more for him, and Bradley Beal, like, even though the team wants to approve it, I mean, even though Bradley Beal may want to go there, he can decline the trade because he might want to play with some of those players that are being offered. Or, you know, like, it's one of those situations where Bradley Beal could force the Wizards into taking significantly less than what he's worth in order to go to a team that he wants to go to. It's either that, or the Wizards try to put a championship team around Bradley Beal, and obviously Bradley Beal would stay there if they could do that. But I simply don't think they can. They're not in the right market for it. They're not a free agent destination. So, like, really the only thing they have left to do is to try to build through the draft. And I think that's the only thing that's left for them. Next trade I want to talk about here is Damian Lillard. I think Damian Lillard's going to get traded. It's going to be a hard trade to work out, but it seems like Damian Lillard's mentally checked out of Portland at this point. It seems as if he is kind of hoping to get traded at this point. Like, he's been putting out things on Twitter, like, if the fans want me traded, so be it, and stuff like that. And he's been quote tweeting tweets talking about him getting traded. I think Damian Lillard's done. I think Damian Lillard's had enough. I think he's done trying to win in Portland. I think he'd prefer to go someplace else. And there's going to be a lot of teams that want him. And honestly, Portland could get a pretty insane haul for him as well. Like, we're talking 4 or 5 first-round picks, plus stuff. You know what I'm saying? So either way, I think both parties end up winning in the end in the event of a Damian Lillard trade. There's rumors he wants to go to New York. like Brooklyn. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but I don't know. I doubt Portland would take Ben Simmons for Damian Lillard, but give Brooklyn a chance to get off Ben Simmons. And Portland's like doing a rebuild anyway, so if Ben Simmons is going to play garbage minutes, he might as well do it on a team that's not going to be winning anything, where he doesn't have to be like the number one guy, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of like the idea of Brooklyn. The thing is, Brooklyn's not going to want to give up Mikal Bridges, and I feel like, in a Damian Lillard trade, Portland's going to want that, and I just don't think it's going to happen. Plus, I don't think Brooklyn has any first-round picks left as well because of the James Harden trade and all the trades they did for, like, KD and, or not KD, but the James Harden trade and stuff like that. So, it's just the idea, like, I don't know how that's going to work out. You know what I'm saying? I just... Damian Lillard's going to end up somewhere. I just don't know if it's going to be in the location he wants to be in. So, there's that. Next is, this one's going to be a little shocking, but Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson is a guy that there's starting to get rumors out there, like Brian Windhorst. There's some credible sources. Brian Windhorst has been one of the guys saying that, like, insiders are saying that the Pelicans are shopping Zion Williamson. And honestly, like, if you're the Pelicans, I think the only reason you're doing this is because his injury concern is way higher than you expected it to be, and you're trying to, like, get something for him now before you can't. I would think if you're a team like the Knicks or, a team like the Hornets or whatever, I'd be very interested. But with a lot of caution, you know what I'm saying? Like, the guy hasn't played a lot of games. If Zion Williamson had played like 60 plus games for the Pelicans every single year since he entered the league, like, teams would be beating down the Pelicans' door for him. But it's just like he hasn't really played. And the other part of it is, like, how much does he really want to play? I feel like it's not outside of the realm to question how much he actually wants to play for the Pelicans. And you'd have to, I guess, try to gauge his interest in playing for, like, the Knicks or, any team that's interested in trading for him. So that's another thing. Another player I'd like to talk about here is Karl Anthony Towns. I think Karl Anthony Towns is going to get traded, mostly because he, it seems like Minnesota's just trying to get off of somebody, whether it's Rudy Gobert or Karl Anthony Towns, and being that they just gave up their entire future for Rudy Gobert, I don't think they're going to be willing to part ways with him. I think they're going to be willing to part ways with Karl Anthony Towns, though, considering that they actually played better without him when he was out during this past season with an injury. And, other teams are going to be interested in him. That's a guy that I think is definitely going to get traded. To who, I don't know. But he's a guy that I think is definitely going to be on the move. Like, I like that trade happening more likely than not happening. So Karl Anthony Towns is a guy I expect to be on the move. Another guy I'd like to talk about here is DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton's a guy I think is going to get moved. I don't think he's worth what he's getting paid, but there's a lot of desperate teams out there, including mine, the Pacers. Like, we need a better center. Like, Miles Turner's good, but he's not great. He's, and I get that DeAndre Ayton's not good, but he's not great either. But at least DeAndre Ayton fucking rebounds sometimes. Miles Turner has been the epitome of, like, a 13-7 guy for most of his career. And, yeah, he blocks a lot of shots, but the guy gets his lunch absolutely eaten by everybody at his position. And even if DeAndre Ayton isn't the greatest center in the league, I think he has the potential to be a lot better than he already is. And I think if you made him like a number 1 or number 2 option on a team that could actually use him, not on a team where he's the 3rd option or 4th option, in this case, I think DeAndre Ayton could become a significantly better player just playing for a different team and a different head coach. So that's also that, because something tells me he didn't like Monty Williams, and I don't really think he liked Chris Paul a lot. And with that being said, Chris Paul as well. Chris Paul, I don't think is going to get traded. I think he's owed too much money. I think the Suns are just going to have to cut him. And some team's going to pick him up as like a mentor to their young point guard. I don't know who, but somebody will. There's one other person I've been thinking about here as far as trades. I can't remember it at the moment. But there's been a lot of players in trade speculation. Here's another one. The Toronto Raptors. Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam is kind of the dark horse, I think, of this trade deadline. Mostly because I definitely think he's going to get traded. I just don't know who to. There's going to be a lot, and I mean a lot of teams calling about Pascal Siakam. And if you're the Toronto Raptors, Fred VanVleet opted out of his player option, so he's an unrestricted free agent. He's going to go someplace else. Like, I'm willing. If I were a betting man, Fred VanVleet's going to go someplace else. A lot of people are saying Miami and stuff like that, but OG Anunoby wants out. Like, I think that's pretty obvious at this point. Like, he's been linked to in trade rumors and to the Pacers for like the entire year, and even going back to like last offseason. So I think OG Anunoby wants out. And if OG Anunoby wants out, if Fred VanVleet's gone, and I think Gary Trent Jr. is going to leave too. If that's the case, I think that Toronto's just going to blow it up. I think they're going to do a complete rebuild. And they're going to get a nice haul for Pascal Siakam. I could see three, maybe even 4 first-round picks coming from the right team. They're asking way too much for OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby's a guy I think that will get traded, just not at what Toronto wants for him. I'm hoping it's the Pacers because he's a great 3-and-D player. But it's just the idea. Pascal Siakam is going to command, I think, 3 or 4 first-round picks and maybe some stuff. He's an all-NBA third-team player at this point in his career. Like, he pretty much is a all-NBA third-team selection pretty much religiously at this point. He was a solid player all this past year, and there's a lot of teams that could use him. Portland's a team that could use him, but if they're shopping Damian Lillard, I don't know how much they're going to actually be interested in that. But Boston could use him. Like, Boston could really fucking use him. Considering just how bad they played on defense in the paint, specifically in the playoffs against Miami. They're definitely going to be looking for like a defensive two-way type of 4. And I definitely think Pascal Siakam can offer that. So there's a lot of guys that are going to be on the move here in free agency. I also think like Miami's going to do something. I don't know what they're like. I feel like Tyler Hero is going to get traded too. Like, Tyler Hero is a guy that I could see Miami making an all-in move on a guy like Damian Lillard or even Bradley Beal. Like, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are getting up there in age, and I don't think Miami wants to blow it up yet. I think they want to take another shot at this. And Gabe Vincent and Max Strus are unrestricted free agents this offseason. So Duncan Robinson's trade value has gone up since the playoffs. So who knows, man? This offseason is going to be incredibly wild. I just want you all to know that ahead of time. You know, I thought the trade deadline was going to be wild, and it was. You know, Kevin Durant got traded, Kyrie Irving got traded. So it's just the idea. I think in this offseason, you're going to see a lot of names moved. I even think Miles Turner is going to be on the move. So, I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like, helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more. I'm the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.